Before we begin with this video, I would like to share with you something which is to check for the update because the latest version of Android Studio has come out. So you can click on check for updates and you will get this arrow. Uh, this will ask you to update Android Studio to the latest version, Android Studio Flamingo. Right now we have Android Studio Electric Eel, so you can update it to Android Studio Flamingo. This will be very helpful because if we update it later, then maybe we will not be able to deal with the changes, the latest changes. Since the latest changes have taken place, it is better to update the Android Studio to the latest version. Video, we are going to learn what are variables and how do they work, and many things about programming, I mean Java language. So basically, let's start with the variables. The variables are very important because they help you to understand basic programming and the code. So variables are written in the syntax form, which is the data type, the variable name, and we assign them a value using this equal to sign. So to create a variable, you must know the data types also. So data types can be classified in two forms, which is primitive data types and the non-primitive data types. I have written only some of the common non-primitive data types. There are so many. I mean, in Java, you have so many non-primitive data types. You have these many primitive data types. So we are focusing on primitive data types in the start, in the beginning. So yeah, let's start. First is byte. A byte is a data type to which you can assign any integer from minus, that is negative 128 to positive 127. Then you have the short data type, which allows you to enter any integer from negative 32,768 to 32,767. You don't need to remember these values. It is very common for programmers to use integer for even small values, but it is better for you to use these because if you use byte and short, it uses less space. Like a byte takes some 1 byte, only 1 byte space, short takes 2 byte space, integer takes 4 byte space, and so on. So it is better to use byte short for small numbers, but mostly programmers prefer integer only. Okay, integer has a huge range, but if you want to write even a bigger number like a user id, there are many user ids generated. So sometimes you would prefer that there are big numbers for them because this covers 2 billion, but we maybe sometimes it the because the world's population is around 7 billion, or 8, actually it has become 8 billion. So you will surely try to prefer this number in the long range. Okay. So we have now known what are byte, short, integer, long. Now we will know what is float. A float is a float allows you to enter a number that has maximum 7 decimal digits. A double can allow you to enter a number which has maximum 15 decimal digits. And now we go to the boolean primitive data type, which allows you to store the values in terms of true or false. uh, then we have the char, which refers to the character. It can store a single letter or a character like a, b, like you can write any of the characters, even comma comes in it, but you can't write a word in it. Okay, like a whole word, like in the string allows us to store a sentence or a whole word, like hello world. You can write hello world for a string, but not in the primitive data type char. Then you have the array. They are used to store different kinds of elements, like which are of the same data type. Like you can have a array of integers. You can have a array of long numbers. You can have a array of byte. You can have an array of short and all, like that. array list is a generic class. We will know what a generic class also, but it is said to be a generic class. It is also based on arrays only. So these arrays are used to store elements in the array list also. So array lists are preferred more because you can easily add and remove elements, and you can easily get the element depending on which position it is at. Let's start with the primitive data types. We will write some code to test it. But first of all, we will remove this, which is the system.out.println and all these commands. Actually, all of them. Yeah. So we can start. So we can create a variable in this way. Int refers to the integer, but since in Java we write it in the short form for the integer, it is int. Okay. So we will name it integer and we will write 1. So this means that we have assigned the value of the variable as 1. Then you can create integer 2, which can be assigned a value of 5. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to remove this text and we will align this text in the center, and we will get the text in the center. So we will set the text as, first we will do the sum. So int sum equal to integer plus integer 2. We have created the sum variable. Now we will create the text view, and you can do it r.id.textview. This is the name, the ID which we have assigned to this view. Okay, the text view in this case. You can see the ID from here, and you can even change it. We will see all of that, but as of now we are learning Java basic. Now we will set the textview.set text. We will use string.value of, because this will return the value of the integer in the string, and now the value of the string will be set. Okay, so yeah, we have the 6. Now what we are going to do is, we will remove all of this, and can remove this line. We can shift this line rather down, and now we will create a, actually you can go with double, because double and float look work like similar, and you can create a double num equal to 8.001. Okay, and we create a double num, oh sorry, yeah, now it's fine, double num 2 equal to 1.999. This will give us the result 10 when we will add them, double and sum, and now we will have it. Okay, and the result will be 10. Yeah, you can see 10.0. Now we will create a float number. Now what I want to show you is something different. We can write it at 12.00f. Now what I want to show you is, if we do this as float and we add a double num plus float num. Okay, so what is happening here is, you can't add double plus float. If you want to get the result in float, you will always get the result in double. The reason behind that is, double has the maximum decimal digits, which is 15, whereas float has only 7 decimal digits as compared to double. Okay, so in case you have a huge number of double which has more than 7 decimal digits, then it is obvious that it needs to return the output in the number which has more than 7 decimal digits, and hence the compiler will always give an error, the red error. You can see the error will be in red, which is a compilation error. and hence we will always write here as double. Similarly, if you add a long value, so we will keep the name as value itself. Now you have to write the long value with the end as capital N. Okay. Here you can use D and D and even F also if you want, but it is better to use D because you are keeping a double. Okay. Now if you add integer, which will be 100 for example, and now we are getting the sum. Okay. Now what is happening? Oh, just a minute. Actually, we need to keep the name sum2. Here again, you will see an error. The reason, a similar reason. Long can have a huge range. Long has a huge range. An integer has a smaller range. So if there is a number which is not in the range of the integer, it will need to always return a value which is more than the range of integer, and hence it will always return the output in long. Now there is something called casting in Java. So if you always want to get the result in integer, what you can do is you can cast this, and it won't give a error. Okay, here you can see if we remove the cast, then it gives an error. If we keep the cast, it won't give an error. This is what you can do in Java. This is how you cast. But casting is not the best practice. In this case, it will work because the long value is not outside the range of integer. But if we keep it huge number and more, yeah, you can see how huge that number is. Now it has become too huge. So first we will keep it very huge, and now what will happen if we do this sum2? It will, you can see the output in that case. Yeah, you can see something is not going well because it is returning the output in negative, and this is not the greatest thing. Okay, this is happening because of your casting, and if you don't cast, you keep this as long, then there will be a comparatively huge difference in the answer. And yeah, now you see there's no error now. Before it didn't add it perfectly and the casting went all wrong. Hence the casting is not the best practice, but if you are sure that this is a value less than in the range of integer, then it is better to assign it the value of int. You can go with this. Still it is too much, yeah. And if you are not sure, then what you can do is you can get this in integer, you can get this in long. Okay, you can remove this casting. What you can also do is you can assign a long the value of integer, but you can't assign wait just a minute, integer 2, you can't assign an integer a value of long. Okay, now this will return compilation error. This is what we are to learn in this video. Thanks for watching. We will learn the non-primitive data types but in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching.